Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another news roundup by the best boys, GetSelious and SithScott, who's extra best today because he has an amazing new model. Show him, Sith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I finally got hired to get out of McDonald's.
Yeah. Now he's rocking the swaggy anime gear while I'm here repping the company. Makes me feel bad.
I thought about having one on there, but decided I'd rather just have, the Sith symbol as well as future Gohan, because why not?
Yeah. True. But anyway, we have a plethora of news this week, and why don't you start us off, Scott?
Awesome. Well, so to start us off, we have been able to learn that Rogue Legacy 2 launches April 28th on PC, Xbox consoles, and that's it.
Yeah, so Rogue Legacy 2 is a sequel to the first Rogue Legacy game. So it's an action, it's a roguelike Metroidvania game. It does a lot of things really cool, and I definitely looking forward to more of it when it's obviously the games are released. We're looking more to be able to sell the consoles. This game is, I do agree, on the more harder end. And I think if more people playing roguelikes, is a better chance more people enjoy things. So that is my stance.
Hopefully, I guess more opportunities. Plus, I always like having roguelites in the sense that it adds a lot of replayability over time.
True. It's just that is the core strength of these things. Yeah. So have you played the first Rogue Legacy game?
I haven't, but that's mainly because I'm just not good at Metroidvanias, so I kind of steer away from them when I can, unless,
Plus
I decide that I really want to try. Roguelites depends on the game. Like, I'm fine with, like, Hades and Slay the Spire kind of deal.
I see. That you would probably also like the game on the screen that's currently being played called Forward. Forward is a...
Probably would.
Yeah. Because all you have to do is just move forward.
That's pretty much life in a nutshell, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And speaking of moving forward, what's the next on topic, my good buddy?
So Drinkbox Studios has announced that Nobody Saves the World will be available to launch for PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, and Nintendo Switch on April 14th, which is really good because Drinkbox Studios has quite the arsenal of games under their belt.
That is true. From the Guacamelee series, which are action Metroidvania, which are platforming action Metroidvania games, which I find insanely fun. So that's what I know them mostly for.
Yeah, well, the game that always stood out to me was always the Mutant Blobs Attack, just because I like the name and just like the aesthetics of it look kind of cool.
Sometimes aesthetics is all you need.
It really is.
Yeah. Oh lord. But yeah, definitely looking forward to. And Nobody Saves the World, if you guys haven't seen the trailer, is it's very parody, very fun in its nature. So it's definitely seen them branch out to other things pretty good.
Yeah, I like the world designs that they have on there. Because there's so much going on and it looks so cool.
Yeah. Definitely something to look into. I think that I think it's gonna be interesting to see what. I guess that will release date more coming of it. Let's see if they have any content plans. It'll be interesting. But yeah, definitely looking forward to more when it comes out and more information comes through.
Alrighty, so next on our list is Happinet has announced that Brigandine, The Legend of Runersia, will launch for Steam on May 11th. This is a game that was already released for Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4.
Yeah, this is pretty interesting. Usually, I remember back in the day when people would make consoles, it was always PC to console and sometimes console to console. But yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird trend now that we have. It goes to consoles first and then PC. Neptunians are doing that, which is kind of weird.
I think, yeah, the PC market's much more like niche, so people will get it. But sometimes you get like insanely good sales with certain games. Like, remember when Persona 4 Golden, which was locked on the Vita, and then came to Steam? It was like the #1 selling game for like during its launch, like the first couple of weeks of it.
On the Vita, it's like you have to buy it for like $40, and it was like $30 on Steam.
Yeah.
Or no, it was $20. It was freaking cheap. And then they had sales on it like almost a month after. That was like, oh, now it's like $14.
Exactly.
That was the best place to buy it.
Mm-hmm. So it's like, there is a market for these type of games and things, whatever. And speaking of market of games, Atlas keeps more games on Steam. but there is a market for like niche type games to put them on the games that may have some console. Let's put it on the platform. So it's been successful. Like even Sony putting Horizon Zero Dawn and God of War has been successful on Steam. So there is definitely a market for PC gamers playing console games, which there always should be. But let's do it. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, God of War put a whole new life to the game on PC, especially with how well done the optimization of that game on PC was, which I can't say the same for Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
But yeah, God of War was great. Horizon Zero Dawn turned great after a few patches.
a few patches later. Yeah.
But that's kind of the sad reality now with PC games, is it takes forever for them to get well optimized now.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of weird because I always thought like, oh, PC Master Race, we know what we're doing. Like, no, we don't. We're just,
they're just not used to like the whole enormity that the PC has, because you get access to so much more tools to help optimization, and you just kind of like get lost in it.
That's true. You get lost in the sauce. But yeah, definitely looking forward to its Steam release, and I'll probably pick it up hopefully because I do play more RPGs on Steam just in front of my computer more often than anything.
Yeah, I'm trying to get more in for my computer RPGs, but I've been playing more RPGs on Switch than anything because I can just bring it wherever.
Wherever, whenever. Yeah.
I mean, that's why one of the reasons I still have the Vita with me at times, because it's the only place I can play Trails in the Sky. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, Falcom.
I don't think it's come working out for you, buddy.
Probably won't, but at least we'll get Trails from Zero this year, so that's still a victory.
That's still a victory for everyone, yeah.
Alrighty, so next up is a more sad kind of news. The mobile title Shining Force Heroes of Light and Darkness is no longer in development.
Yeah. So it looks like the company that Sega hired or Sega has commissioned to work going to be gone, meaning that there's probably not going to be any more entries to the Shining Force series for a while now, which is a bit sad because I think Shining Force is the grandfather of the strategy RPG games that people like, are some in the veins of Disgaea and Fire Emblem, and even to indie games that uses like Final Fantasy Tactics, Final Fantasy Tactics not indie, but indie games like Dark Deity. So I'm a bit sad because these are really, really phenomenal games, and it's fun. It's a phenomenal series I grew up playing. I love Shining Force 1 and Shining Force 2 to like the end of me. I even liked some of the spin-offs like Shining Force EXE, and I played Shining Tears for the PS2. Which is, it just had Shining in it, so
clearly it was worthwhile.
The game had not great loading screens, but it made me, like I said, I'm a bit sad because of we haven't had a Shining game in such a long time. So like, or at least a re-release collection that doesn't involve the Sega Mega Hard Drive collection you can buy on Steam, or the Sega Game Collection you buy for console. So there hasn't been anything like that for a long time.
Yeah, I only played the second one. I really enjoyed it. I never played the first Shining Force.
Oh, you didn't play Shining Force? Shining Force 1 is a trip. You'll love it. It has secret characters, similar to Shining Force 2. Shining Force 2 expanded the class expansion to secondary characters, to having tier. It was, again, this is the grandfather of the RPG strategy games that people in the future, from Final Fantasy Tactics to Disgaea to Fire Emblem, heavily influenced Fire Emblem. You can see the similarities like a wazoo,
Yeah.
And definitely inspired future strategy RPG games like Dark Deity, which is available. So it's a game it's a series I hold dear to my heart, and I was willing to actually shell money to play this if it was a gacha to play it, because I know that the Fire Emblem game that's available on mobile, I think it's Fire Emblem Tactics.
Fire Emblem Heroes.
Fire Emblem Heroes. See,
I play that.
Yeah, Fire Emblem Heroes. Thank you for correcting me. Fire Emblem Heroes is a game that has a similar outcome, and people still play. I know it's gacha, but it's still a game that people play. So
and Nintendo makes a crap ton of money off of it. So.
Yes, they do. Roll for your waifus, baby.
Yeah.
And I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool, and I think not only I think it's pretty cool because the game sells pretty well, and I think that like it's a gacha game that has RPG elements to it, and that model was successful, so we could apply that to Shining Force to be successful too. But the development's been quit on it, so it's better that than anything. But I hope Sega hasn't given up on the franchise and finds a new way to invent it. I would pay top dollar, even though I already own it, a Shining Force collection series. If you put Shining Force 1, 2, Shining Force Gaiden for the Game Boy Color, at least the first 3 games, that'd be great.
Yeah, I wish they would do. I feel like one thing that kind of gets overlooked is how often we get titles like Shining Force that kind of revolutionize the category, and then they just kind of fall off. And then nobody really, well, I guess no one in the higher ups really cares about it.
Yeah. I mean, it reminds me of like there is a huge love for games like Streets of Rage, right? Streets of Rage has always been popular by Sega for years, but you haven't had a game since like 3 was like the mid 90s, right? So then here we are, playing people playing Streets of Rage 4 comes out, and then boom, becomes the greatest game of our generation,
Yeah. So I hope that we get more, I guess, titles that at least bring it back in some ways.
Yeah, definitely. And I pretty much think that, so I just pretty much, if any developers out there, big and small, if you own a property that's been loaded on the back end for a while, bring back a nice collection pack for us. It's nice to own, and it makes us feel nostalgic, and some of us like to live the best part of our childhoods. Before our father took away our video games and told us to eat our broccoli, that was not the fun part of my childhood. I was not a fan of that.
I mean, I can't relate too much to that one, but I can relate to having to go out and mow the lawn. I had a weird thing where I had to spend like 2 hours of playing video games. I'd have to spend like an hour doing chores or something like that.
You're telling me that you had to do chores, but your father didn't make you eat vegetables? Like, that's just weird.
My family wasn't always good at the whole feeding aspect.
They were like, I guess there's food on the table today. Hooray! Like, what do you mean, hooray?
Most of my meals consisted of cereal or chicken nuggets.
You live the chicken nugget lifestyle. That is, I'm very proud.
It hasn't changed very much, to be honest.
I'm
adding vegetables to the diet now, which is
I'm deeply
ironic.
worried for you now that you live with a chicken nugget diet.
They're good chicken nuggets, at least.
At least they give me chicken nuggets. I'm worried that is the dream you're living. But yeah, but back to the news at hand. Hopefully it's not chicken nugget related.
No, this news is not chicken nugget related. This is, Blizzard shows its rear up again. It had Activision Blizzard has settled a sexual harassment lawsuit for $18 million.
Wow.
Which just means not much happened.
Yeah, so basically, to put it mildly, which I'm going to be extremely upset about this, Blizzard did a bad thing. And instead of the bad thing getting punished, because this thing is, $18 million is nothing to scoff at, okay? Because they were sued by, I believe, the California state system, whatever. I don't want them. The idea is that I don't like the idea that sexual harassment can just be paid off as a crime. I think that is not good.
Yeah, this will pretty much just give them, neutral PR. Not even like negative or positive.
Exactly, and that's the part that bothers me the most about it. Like, it's like, oh hey, well, these things do the stuff, and that's it. And I'm not a fan of it because it sets a bad precedent in a way that if I ran the Outerhaven in a very bad way, which I don't run the Outerhaven. Shadow Haxer does. He's a great guy. If you're looking for work, hit him up. He has rates for you. Seriously, if you contribute to the video game industry. But I don't like the idea that you can run a bad business and then do bad things, and then the punishment is financially. I want you to actually suffer time for it, because they have the names of people who've committed these things. That's the part that makes me upset about. I don't like the idea, like, no, it's not punitive damages. It's not like a broken window, or someone broke a car. You got bumped in the back by tailgating, which I've heard people got hurt by tailgating, which I'm not making light of that, but still, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of sad because names are like, I mean, it's not necessarily as public as they should, but there have been things that have happened at Activision Blizzard, and there have been people who have worked there who say that individuals who have, you know, done most of the sexual harassment are still working there and have received really no repercussions. And that's always a big problem because it's like you really should suffer repercussions if you're doing bad things in a company.
Yeah.
It just reminds me actually of like a month ago, a video surfaced of one of the a Sony worksman was doing some really bad stuff and he got fired the next day.
Wow.
So it's just like, that's something I wish would happen more. It's like when someone gets caught doing something that they shouldn't be doing, they should either be fired or have some kind of repercussions.
Exactly.
And I feel like the problem is Activision Blizzard isn't doing squat except for, you know, paying the minimum amount. Because, I mean, yes, 18 million isn't a lot to scoff at, or isn't much to scoff at, but at the same time, Activision Blizzard is like $1 billion company.
Right, and the idea that they can still be operating and doing business at the things they've done, and the idea that none of the people who done sexual harassment is being punished by the law in a criminal way, because sexual harassment is a criminal offense.
Yes.
So in my mind, I'm a bit like perturbed by it completely because I'm like, no, we punish criminals in this country, right? You know, they're not even trying to be political about it. It just makes me a bit upset. Yeah.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
But it is what we can do, and we can be also grateful that we now can punish people in a way when this happens, where regardless that we've sent a crime or anything, they will be ousted publicly and there are repercussions for that. Though I hope we can always hope for more repercussions, I still feel like there is much more we can and should be doing.
I agree. There's always more that can be done, and I definitely think that we're on the lower end right now, especially with Activision Blizzard, where not a whole lot is being done rather than just saying things.
Yeah, it's like...
I mean, you still have, like, what, Call of Duty Vanguard was still, like, the best-selling Call of Duty.
Believe it or not, the people who bought that game, that game has a lot of hate because it's actually not a good game, but, you know.
Well, it isn't.
Yeah, it isn't, yeah.
Call of Duty has been going downhill a while.
Yeah, and now they decided to not make more games for yearly release. Like, hooray!
Good job, you did one thing.
Yeah.
Polish your freaking games.
Yeah, but it's it's something. So we can we can always hope. I think we can hope for the best, and I think we can hope for the best, and we're glad that Blizzard has been attacked this way, but dragged through the muddy internet and things like this. And I'm hoping that, Activision Blizzard's been through hell on earth, and I love the bad. They try to fix this. They try to fix themselves. Good, by the way. They try to fix themselves. Like, oh, we changed the name. We changed J.C. McCree, which was the name of the real person who was a sexual harasser at Activision Blizzard, to Cole Cassidy. Oh, changing the character name is really the problem here. Oh, exactly. And I love how they try to media scrum themselves to fix it. And I'm like, just fire the people and admit what you did was wrong. But here we go, right?
Seriously.
But yeah,
Alrighty, so one more big news, I guess. Now that Activision Blizzard hopefully works through their stuff.
Yeah.
Is PlayStation Plus has announced their new, I guess, premium and extra subscription tiers for PlayStation Plus.
Interesting. How would that work out?
So, PlayStation Plus Essential is your just normal PlayStation Plus. It's the same thing it's been. PlayStation Plus Extra is the tier afterwards, which is a price hike of like $5 more a month. And that adds a bunch of playable PS4 and PS5 games that are in their blockbuster hit collection for PlayStation Studios catalog. The problem is it doesn't say what games there are, it just says you'll get up to 400 of them. And then they have a premium tier, which adds all of the above, as well as adds PlayStation Now, which is all the PS3 games they have on cloud streaming with a little bit of PlayStation 4 games you can download. As well as sounds like they're actually adding more access for downloadable as well as streamed access for the original PS1, PS2, and PlayStation Portable games.
Interesting. How do you think they're competing with this model because it's the success, or at least the success, or the success of, I would say, Xbox Game Pass, or the abundance how games are moving to a digital format? Like we just discussed earlier, how we're willing to buy collections of games in digital formats on Steam.
Yeah, like Chrono Cross. But
yeah.
The thing with PlayStation, like this right here, is kind of a Mod Podge, because I think it is kind of a answer to Game Pass, but I don't think it's directly competing with it, because it doesn't do what Game Pass does, which is like the day one releases where you get all Xbox's like made games, as well as like their newer ones with Game Pass, which is, I guess, most their big selling point. Because this is mainly basically adding more older titles with some newer titles. So it's not necessarily the same, and I don't think that this is what PlayStation really wants to compete with Game Pass as much as they just want to use PlayStation Now for something. PlayStation Now is one of their subscription services that go on now that's been losing a lot of friction because of Game Pass and other places that have subscription services. And PlayStation Now has just basically been cloud streaming with some downloadable content, mostly just streaming though, because they have a humongous catalog of PlayStation 3 games. Because, I mean, to be fair, the PlayStation 3 has a huge catalog.
Yeah, sure.
So this is them, I think, utilizing their PlayStation Now like services and trying to make money out of it by adding it as an add-on to PlayStation Plus, which is a much more successful service. Because to be fair, it is. PlayStation Plus is huge and it gets a lot of subscription. It has like, I don't know the full numbers, but
it does well.
Very high. It's like in the 100 millions, I think. Or not hundreds, like the 50s or dozen millions. Just PlayStation is really bad at releasing numbers about their subscription services, but I just know it's huge because they make a lot of money off of it. So this is what I think they're doing, is just combining their successful service with their non-successful service and seeing if they can get like a middle ground with it.
Yeah, I think so. I have never used PlayStation Now for any services at the time because I still own my PS3, and though it's harder to use my PS2 a bit. Have you an experience using PlayStation Now?
Actually, yes. So, because there's a little exploit at the end of this little thing, for those who have PlayStation Now, have like subscriptions for it, if you get a year or more, the amount of time that you have as soon as the subscription service releases will be instantly transferred to time for PlayStation Plus Premium, which is huge because PlayStation Plus Premium is around $120 a year. And so with PlayStation Now, it's like 60. So instead of spending 120 once it comes out, because I like doing the yearly subscription model because it saves you a little more money, and you don't have to think about it as much because it just gets taken out at the same time as like Amazon does. I'm the dumb one who put all my yearly subscription services at the same time.
Oof, you get hit big once and don't worry about it. Yeah. Exactly.
That's how it works. I make lots of money, except for 1 month I lose lots of money.
It does have a good payout from that perspective, but it's
yeah. So I started PlayStation. So I guess to get my little history, I started PlayStation Now when it first began because it gave you a bunch of trials for it, but the cloud service was very delayed. Like, it was not good. I tried playing at the time was like Tales of Zestiria because I wanted to get into more of the Tales series, and honestly, it played terribly. It had so much input lag, audio desyncs. It was just like I couldn't play the game. They released it also for PC like later. That apparently was a little bit better because it had a better like network adapter than the PS4 at the time, which makes sense. Network adapters for like the PS4 and Xbox Ones get super outdated because they use the same thing for consoles 10 years ago. So I now started playing PlayStation Now with my PS5 because I got the year subscription for it, and it runs really well. Like, I was impressed. The cloud service, I couldn't even tell much of the input delays. Like, there's still a very, very small input delay when you first do something, but after like you're actually working at it and pressing buttons and doing stuff, you can't really tell. And so I'm really impressed with how there is. I mean, the catalog they have is a lot of games to just throw at you, because I think there's like 600 something games now on PlayStation Now, with a bunch of just like, has PS4, it has PlayStation 3, and all of them I think it can be streamed as well as just played. They have like a big PlayStation Now server. And the games themselves are an okay collection. I wouldn't say I would ever get PlayStation Now for any specific game they have on the collection. There are some good ones, like they have like pretty much the entire Dynasty Warriors series on the PS3 on there.
Yeah.
As being a Dynasty Warriors junkie, I definitely hit that up a bunch. And they also have even like Strike Force, which was a PSP title originally, that then went to the PlayStation 3.
Interesting. So I guess the best way to say it is that if you use it as a PlayStation 5, it has much more benefit there.
Yes, agreed. Because PlayStation 5 has a much better network adapter and can actually, utilize Ethernet a lot better than the PS4 counterpart. I mean, obviously, I think the PC will probably be the best way to stream your games, but you don't get the whole feel of the PlayStation being on your TV and everything, which, I mean, some people care about that, some don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just impressed with PlayStation Now. I mean, I think Game Pass still is the better service because it has the newer games, but I don't think this is anything to really scoff at. Especially because they said they're going to try to bring Death Stranding, Spider-Man Miles Morales, God of War, and Mortal Kombat 11 and Returnal to the service once it hits. So I will be interested to see if those also have streaming or not on them, especially if it's like a PS5 game.
I think it's an interesting process for them to work with it, but this is from your expression rate and me looking up and around it. I think that for users when you use PlayStation Now, I recommend you having PlayStation Now if you own a PS5. Personally, because here's the thing: there's not a lot of games on PS5, so you get to at least do something with your PlayStation 5 instead of because let's be honest, our editor-in-chief Keith has done a amazing video on is $70 too much for a new video game, and that's up to you to decide. But if you do feel it's too expensive, perhaps you should get a PlayStation Now. It's a yearly pass, and you get to enjoy a bunch of older games and have a good time while you maybe control your purchasing power.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah. Because my answer to that, yes, $70 is too much. I think we're getting ripped off too much. I think, guys, come on, stop.
I usually wait a few months when it starts to go down. Especially PlayStation games go down pretty quickly. Nintendo is the only, I think, console that prices hardly ever go down, and when they do go down, they're pretty much sold out.
Yeah, Nintendo's Nintendo. They really do squeeze their own market. It's the same price all the time, every time. They have the right to do if they own it, blah blah blah. But like, oof,
That's why I go to Walmart, so I can get the $10 off discount for new games.
Yeah, I'm like, guys, please. I can't afford this. Can you just drop? Okay, Mario Sunshine's been out for like 2 months. Can you please drop the price? No, we don't do that here. Please, for me, no. Not for you. Never for you. Thanks, buddy. I needed that.
Thanks for carrying Nintendo. No,
yeah, thanks for carrying. Thank you for playing my game. But yeah, anyway, with that out the way, let's do a summarization of what the news we talked about this time. So Scott, give it away.
So today we talked about Rogue Legacy 2 launching April 28th. We talked about Drinkbox Studios announcing that their game Nobody Saves the World will launch on April 14th. We've talked about Happinet announcing Brigandine, The Legend of Runersia, which will launch on Steam at May 11th. We talked about the sad reality of Shining Force not coming back on mobile. We've talked about Activision Blizzard being Activision Blizzard.
Yeah.
And the PlayStation Plus Premium subscription.
Yeah. And that wraps up all the good news. Thank you guys for listening to the video. This one's it may be a bit longer than average, but we did have a large chunk of news this time around. If you guys are interested, thank you guys that you guys are interested in following us. Be sure to hit our social links below. Have all information. You can follow us on streams, YouTube, etc. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell as well, so you'll be notified next time we go live. could drop a comment and leave a like. It helps us in the algorithm. More people, because if you like our content, maybe other people like our content as well. And they will like our content because look at us, we're the best boys. We're rocking the jacket and the hoodie, so we're cool now, right, Scott?
I would say so.
Exactly. This is GetSelious SithScott signing out, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
See ya.